Sir, the economy is currently being flushed down the drain because of our war with Iran. It is really straining our resources. What should we do about it?
Well, how about we just invade Kuwait next? Welcome to the Gulf, a region renowned for its scenic deserts, stunning coastlines, and a never-ending love affair. With oil. Lots of oil. Now meet Iraq, a country led by the one and only Saddam Hussein, a man with a fashion sense almost as controversial as his foreign policies. Now, Iraq's neighbor Iran had a rough time after the Islamic Revolution in 1979. It was like waking up after a wild party and realizing you're missing a kidney. Iraq saw the neighbor's vulnerable state and thought, "Hey, this is the perfect moment for a little invasion." And so began the Iran-Iraq War, lasting from 1980 to 1988. They fought like cats and dogs, except cats and dogs don't have tanks and chemical weapons. The conflict was brutal, casualties piled up like the garbage in your room, economies crumbled, and both sides thought it was a good idea to play around with chemical weapons. But as the smoke cleared and the dust settled, Iraq found itself in a bit of a pickle. The war left them drowning in debt and facing more economic challenges than a broke college student, so they were probably even worse than you right now. Meanwhile, not too far away, Kuwait was living its best life, a small country, but swimming in wealth. Iraq couldn't help it but feel a little bit jealous of their neighbor's fancy lifestyle. Rumor had it that Kuwait was playing dirty, keeping oil prices low and stealing Iraq's precious black gold.
Sir, it is not looking good. We are knee-deep in debt, our economy is crumbling, and the oil prices are about as high as your approval ratings.
How about we just fix all of our problems by invading Kuwait?
That's a brilliant idea!
And so, on August 2nd, 1990, Iraq decided to make a bold fashion statement by launching a full-scale invasion on Kuwait. Iraq moved into Kuwait, claiming they had some historical ties and accusing Kuwait of all sorts of offenses. Within hours, Iraqi forces took over Kuwait City, leaving the international community like, whoa, not cool.
Take that, Saddam!
The United Nations Security Council quickly passed Resolution 660 and condemned the invasion whilst demanding the immediate and unconditional withdrawal of Iraqi forces from Kuwait.
Sir, the Security Council has condemned the invasion.
To be really honest with you, I don't really care. What are you gonna do? Put us under heavy economic sanctions and slap a trade embargo on us that will financially ruin us? This is exactly what the UN did, assembling the international community and unleashing their ultimate weapon, economic sanctions. They weren't about to let Iraq get away with invading Kuwait. Freezing Iraq's assets, slapping a trade embargo on them, and basically saying, no more oil for you. But they didn't just stop there. They sent in special envoys like Javier Perez de Cuellar, and later Bortos Bortoscali, and the Secretary Generals of the United Nations to have a little chat with Saddam.
Hey Saddam, could you please withdraw from Kuwait?
No, absolutely not. Saddam wasn't having any of it. He outright refused to withdraw his troops from the country. And so, with economic pressure on Saddam being quite useless, the international community launched Operation Desert Shield. The primary objective? To defend Saudi Arabia from potential Iraqi aggressions and send a clear message to Saddam Hussein that he couldn't just walk into other people's countries like he owned the place. The coalition was an all-star team. We're talking the United States, the United Kingdom, Saudi Arabia, France, Egypt, and many more. Like the Avengers of international diplomacy. The coalition wasted no time deploying a massive military presence to Saudi Arabia and the neighboring Gulf states. And when I say massive, I mean it. Over 500,000 troops from different countries, with the United States leading the charge. They brought the firepower, the boots on the ground, and more aircrafts than you can count. The United States, being the team captain, contributed the largest contingent. They were like,
alright everyone, let's show Saddam why our people have no free healthcare.
And so, the coalition was determined to stand strong, protect Saudi Arabia, and send a clear message to Iraq that their little invasion party had serious consequences. So there they were, troops on the ground, planes in the sky, and ships on the water, a force to be reckoned with, ready to defend and deter future invasions.
Ready?
Ready. And with that, Operation Desert Shield was in full swing. But little did they know this was only the prelude to a much larger storm brewing in the Gulf. The coalition's mission was crystal clear: establish air superiority and make the skies their own. Fighter aircraft, bombers, and support planes were deployed in full force, ensuring that the coalition had dominance over the region's vast skies.
Well, we can handle some planes, can't we?
And so, also aircraft carriers, cruisers, and destroyers were strategically positioned in the Persian Gulf and the Red Sea. Iraq was shown that the coalition meant business. Their message was loud and clear: don't mess with us or we'll make you seasick. Now, logistics and the right infrastructure also played crucial roles in this large-scale operation. After all, you can't wage a war without essential supplies and support.
Do we have everything ready? Yes, sir! Troops? Check! Fuel? Check! Intercontinental ballistic missiles? Check!
I didn't know we needed that, but check! And so extensive supply lines were established, and they were stretching far and wide to ensure that troops had everything they needed: equipment, fuel, food, intercontinental ballistic missiles, you name it, they had it ready to go. The operation lasted for several months, from August 1990 to January 1991. It was a period of intense preparation and buildup.
Since now everybody hates us anyways, let's just invade Saudi Arabia. Well, they have surrounded us with 500,000 troops. I would maybe
not do that right now? And let me tell you, it was a success. Operation Desert Shield deterred further Iraqi aggression and safeguarded Saudi Arabia from a full-scale invasion. The coalition had now set the stage for the storm that was about to unleash its fury. Kuwait, however, was still being occupied by Iraqi forces, and so on January 17, 1991, the war finally began with Operation Desert Storm and a massive aerial bombardment campaign. Coalition forces were ready to give Iraq a taste of their own medicine. The objective? Weaken Iraq's military infrastructure, obliterate their communication systems, and target strategic sites with the precision of a bullseye champion.
Happy birthday, babe! I arranged this special fireworks show just for you!
Fighter jets, bombers, and precision-guided munitions turned the Iraqi skies into a fireworks show like no other. The coalition aimed to weaken Iraq's defenses and establish air superiority, taking control of the battlefield from above.
And what another beautiful morning! Really, nothing could make this day.
The operation was relentless. Day after day, night after night, the airstrikes continued, hitting their targets with surgical precision. But the story didn't end there. On January 29, 1991, the Battle of Khafji erupted, catching the coalition forces by surprise. Iraqi forces launched an attack on the Saudi Arabian town held by coalition forces, thinking they could turn the tide of the conflict. But little did they know the coalition was prepared for anything. At first, Iraqi forces were able to capture the city, but not for long. Coalition forces quickly returned, and the ensuing battle was fierce. However, the coalition ultimately showed their abilities. Through sheer determination and unwavering resolve, they successfully repelled the Iraqi forces and regained control of the town. The Battle of Khafji was a testament to the coalition's strength and their unwavering commitment to protect Saudi Arabia and their allies. But the war was not over yet. Now the coalition forces pushed forward in order to also liberate Kuwait from Iraqi occupation. On February 24, 1991, the ground invasion to liberate Kuwait commenced with the Battle of Kuwait International Airport, marking the beginning of the offense. Coalition forces launched a massive armored assault, swiftly overwhelming Iraqi defenses. They were like a bulldozer, plowing through obstacles in their path. The coalition forces were unstoppable, advancing toward Kuwait City, determined to free the city from Iraqi occupation. One significant battle during the ground offensive was the Battle of 73 Easting on February 26, 1991. It was a clash of titans where US and British armored units engaged and decisively defeated Iraqi forces in southern Iraq. The battle showcased the coalition's superior armored capabilities and effective military tactics. And then on February 27, 1991, coalition forces achieved a significant milestone: the liberation of Kuwait City. The city, once under the shadow of Iraqi occupation, was now finally free. It was a moment of triumph, a beacon of hope in the midst of turmoil. As the coalition forces pushed deeper into Iraq, they encountered a haunting sight on the Highway 80, commonly known as the Highway of Death. Retreating Iraqi forces filled the highway, their military vehicles and equipment stretched out as far as the eye could see. The coalition aircraft unleashed a devastating onslaught, targeting and destroying numerous Iraqi vehicles with precise accuracy. It was a scene of chaos and destruction, and a grim reminder of the cost of war. But amidst the devastation, a ray of hope emerged. On February 28, 1991, a ceasefire was declared, effectively ending the war. Iraq was required to dismantle its weapons of mass destruction programs, accept inspections by the United Nations, and comply with various other conditions. The world demanded accountability, aiming to prevent further conflict and establish a lasting peace in the region. The ceasefire marked a turning point, opening the door to a new chapter of diplomacy and reconciliation. The dust now began to settle, and the echoes of war slowly started to fade away. The war had significant outcomes that left a lasting mark on the region. Kuwait, once under the grip of Iraqi occupation, was successfully liberated, restoring its sovereignty. It was a moment of triumph for the Kuwaiti people and a testament to the coalition's unwavering commitment. Okay, time to leave, guys. This is ours now. But the war also had a dark side, a humanitarian crisis. Atrocities committed by Iraqi forces during the occupation caused displacement and human rights abuses. Rebuilding and restoring stability in Kuwait required extensive efforts. The scars left by the occupation ran deep, but the Kuwaitis showed resilience and determination. Economically, Iraq faced significant setbacks. The war's cost, reparations, the UN-imposed sanctions took a toll, leading to deteriorating living conditions for the Iraqi people. Meanwhile, Kuwait, with its vast oil reserves, recovered relatively quickly, but challenges remained. The road to stability was not without its bumps. The United Nations played a crucial role in setting conditions for a ceasefire and Iraq's disarmament. It was an attempt to prevent further conflict and pave the way for a new era. The Gulf War transformed the geopolitical landscape in the region too. The United States emerged as a dominant power in the region, showcasing its military capabilities and influence. Unresolved issues and geopolitical tensions continued to impact the region, contributing to ongoing conflicts and instability. The aftermath of the Gulf War had far-reaching consequences that still reverberate today, shaping the Middle East in profound ways for decades to come. This type of content is pretty time-consuming to produce. If you want to support my channel and help me create more of these videos, please consider subscribing to my Patreon under patreon.com/historywithseb. As a thank you, subscribers receive exclusive behind-the-scenes content, early access to, and a shout-out at the end of every video, and decide what future videos should be about. So thank you for your support.